Hello folks, welcome to the show Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. Prior to this one, we had another one talking about Diaoyu Island and the strong statement made by President Barack Obama. That was Mr. Victor Chang, professor at the USC. Also, he is the board of directors of Asian Strategic Study. Okay. Mr. Victor Chang. His opinion, however, was mostly in relation to the overall picture, international overall picture. We would want to emphasize on the fact that does the United States need to do that? Do we have an interest there? Something like that. So joining me today is my good friend, Dr. Ling Yun Gu. Welcome, Doctor, to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
All right. Every time you're here, I feel kind of like, well, you know, we're worried about the whole world. We're not taking over the whole world, but anything, anywhere, anything happens, it is our concern.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, now, we all heard from the news, and news after news for days, that President Barack Obama, while visiting Japan, made a strong statement about the Diaoyu Island, about the sovereignty of Diaoyu Island.
That's
so
right.
I would like to hear your comment of the overall case, please.
Okay, and to me, that's a very interesting topic. And the topic, I would say, has been lasting for more than probably 50 years. Because if we go back to the very beginning of the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security between the United States and Japan, and we know at the very beginning it was made in 1951, and then the old one was abolished, and the new one was made probably in 1960. And it's very clear for United States why they want to sign this kind of treaty with Japan, because they believe Japan is the most important strategic partner for U.S. in Asia.
Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and security between United States and Japan.
That's
okay.
right.
All right.
Yes.
Good.
And U.S. definitely believe Japan is not one of the most important strategic partner for U.S. state in Asia. And they also see the strong
Is it because they bombed our Pearl Harbor?
Well, that's another interesting thing, right?
Okay.
Because they used to be.
They like us so much. Is it because we bombed them 5 years later?
That's exactly. I think that's definitely reverse the story,
two
right?
who were bombing each other in history.
Yes.
Less than 60 years of history, right?
That's right.
Or something 60, more than 60 years.
That's 1941.
1941 and 45.
Yes, that's right.
1941, 12/7, they bombed Pearl Harbor.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And 4 years later, in 1945, we bombed them.
Yes.
Of course, our bomb is much stronger.
Yeah.
Right?
Hiroshima.
We almost kind of put them to an end. Right?
Yes, that's right.
So, all right, and then later we became allies.
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. Okay. Let's continue.
Yeah. So, like for U.S. For us, we definitely believe there should be something between U.S. and Japan to do in order to secure this very important strategic partner.
All right.
But to me, there are a lot of different ways to secure such a kind of partner.
Of course, when you say secure, word secure though, you always apply the word to go to verse a danger.
That's right.
Imminent danger, right?
Yes.
For example, you're attacking me, I'm talking about defense. And then next day, I sit together with my friends, talking about to secure myself, talking about my protection because Dr. Ku is going to attack me, right? Who is going to attack Japan? We're talking about security.
At this moment, I don't
Do we know?
Any country around Japan is going to attack Japan.
Has anybody invaded Japan?
Not really, but 50
really.
years or 60 years ago, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Japan invaded
But
a lot
Japan
of
invaded
countries.
somebody else, right?
Exactly.
Okay, now.
Yes.
So what is the security based upon?
Oh, well,
The word security based upon?
the secure I'm here is try to make sure Japan is still an important ally with US, but doesn't necessarily mean there is any country going to attack the Japan in very near future. That's also bring to my point, which is US already spent a lot of time and effort in different parts around the world, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and probably maybe in Iran, and there are also different countries, and we do see US has its strong military presence. I do see US has a lot of military presence in the rest of the world, right? Iraq and Afghanistan, and probably potentially in Iran. Hopefully it's not, but I really do not see any need US should be involved itself more deeply into Pacific Rim, especially anything between Japan and any other neighbors of Japan. I don't say this is a very wise movement.
But as an American, as a taxpayer, I don't think that we have the extra money to do that.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. We have so many domestic problems.
Neither do I see the necessity of doing that because we have military presence there already.
That's
right.
Yes.
We have military presence in the Philippines, in Singapore, in everywhere, in Taiwan,
in South Korea.
Almost everywhere, in South Korea. We don't have to beef up about Japan. We don't want to have to make sure Japan is secure. There are lots of places that are not secure already. So do we have an obligation to secure each and every single one of them? If not, why Japan?
I think technically speaking, if US sign a treaty or agreement with Japan, probably US does have the obligation to secure any of its allies, but I really don't think this is the right time to step in.
When you have a treaty though, does Japan have the same obligation to secure United States?
Technically speaking, they do, but I don't think they have the ability of doing that.
Well, when you do not have the ability to secure your counterpart, why do you enter into a treaty?
That is because I believe, that's my personal opinion, and back to 60 years ago, that's kind of one way to make Japan be sure and they do not have to develop their own military arms.
For example, you and I are about the same size, about the same age, or whatever, and then you and I one day sign a treaty that we make sure each other is secure. In other words, I can stand your defense, you can do my defense, right? Like that. So you want to sign a treaty, mutual treaty with somebody much, 10 times, if not 100 times weaker than you to make sure you're safe?
Probably not.
All right, now, when you do that though, do you have a bigger target, a bigger purpose?
I agree with you. And to me, like I said, it's probably like my biased personal opinion. Why US at this moment, they want to specifically make this announcement. To me, it's highly correlated with the current situation happening in Ukraine. Because in Ukraine, that's 20 years ago, and before the Soviet Union fell apart, and Ukraine signs agreement with the rest of the world. They gave up the nuclear weapon in order to exchange the safety of its own country and the integrity of its territory. But now, based on the things just happened several months ago, and we can see Russia just shows strong muscle to the rest of the world, and they pretty much can do whatever they want, and without to take any warning from European partners and neither from the US.
No, but my question is that, do Ukraine and Russia have their own regional problems?
Yeah.
Their regional nature of problems of their regional nature.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Why don't we, as Americans, let them take care of their business? Speaking of conflicts, whatever, there are conflicts everywhere, every single day, every single minute. Well, my whole point is that why do we have to get our hands on certain problem, choosingly? Right?
I think I agree with you. I think you are right. And for US, in order to be the number one, in the world. There are so many things we need to do. And not necessarily just by involving in those regional conflicts is the best way to show we are the leader, right? And there are a bunch of different, we can be a technical leader, and we can be a political reform leader, and we can be economy development leader, but not necessarily we try to involve in this kind of individual independently and no correlated regional conflict to show we are the leader. And definitely agree with you. But the reason I show the example of Ukraine is just like I want to probably, that's like Obama's aides, and they think, wow, probably we lose faith in Ukraine, and currently what is the next way to show our friends, they still want to follow us. And probably like in Japan, we want to do something to let the rest of our friends to know.
In other words, you're saying, you're saying if I lose a battle, boxing game with, for example,
try to involve in another
for
boxing,
example,
right?
What's the guy's name? What's the famous guy?
Which guy?
I mean the boxer, the world one, number
Ford,
one.
or Michael Tyson.
Tyson, take Tyson for example,
Tyson,
right?
Yes.
If I lose a fight with Tyson and then I give you a punch in the nose, so I get my face back.
That actually doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But exactly, that's like I say, it's not my opinion, but I just try to pretend to be on the other side of Obama's administration or be his aide and try to think what is the reason for him and his cabinet to make this kind of decision. Even I do not agree with this decision.
All right, very good. Okay, let's take a very short moment out. You don't have to agree totally with me, but you know, we can even argue.
Absolutely.
We don't have punch me in the face, so I will not do that either. But the argument is argument. Well, we can still do that. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll find the side of the coin from the Japan side. So stay with us.